So this is a follow-up video to the last video that I made about getting typed in the objective personality system. So I just got my official objective personality typing results yesterday. So this is just how I feel about it. I am not an INFJ, I'm an ENFP. And Dave and Shan did a good job explaining to me why I really seem like an INFJ, because I do really seem like an INFJ. And it's because I'm an ENFP, but I'm a really weird type that my SI, which is tiny, I have little tiny SI, is masculine and double activated. And so all the IJ things that I was saying, really IJ traits, are because of this double activated masculine SI. And I didn't see it at all. And I'm processing it. Getting typed has not been totally destabilizing. It's not devastating in any way, but I'm tired. I feel very tired processing this. I feel kind of self-protective. I've been, slightly destabilized just because they're showing me things that I just didn't see. I just wasn't aware of. And seeing those things is draining, but it's also kind of cool. A few weeks ago, when I got approved for typing, I started really looking at myself and thinking about my type. And I know there was a point early on where I was saying like, oh, ENFP, like, yeah, I can see that. I see so much of myself in that. And then I just discounted it because I just didn't believe that I could be savior gather. I just didn't believe it because I'm so regimented in my habits and my routine, and I don't really like new things. But when I think about it, I guess I do like new concepts. I was also very confused by NE and NI. So now that I've kind of processed the definitions a little bit better, I guess I can sort of see the distinction between NE and NI. So you know how they say that NI really likes to narrow down? I guess that's what I thought I was doing with NE. But now that I look at it, that's kind of silly that I thought that, because that's not at all what I'm doing. I felt like I was grabbing everything and putting it in my NI bag, and it was all fitting into one thing. But really, I wasn't narrowing down. Like, the abstract bag isn't like a small, narrow, focused thing. It's actually that I can make anything fit. So my abstract is a big inner abstract world, and I can really make anything fit because I can see the connections between everything. So when I get a new concept, if it doesn't fit, I don't really eliminate it and ignore it. I make it fit. That's one of my superpowers, is that I can see how everything connects. And so I guess in my mind, I was thinking because everything fits into one thing, that must be what they mean by narrowing down. So I think that I just wasn't distinguishing between NI and NE. I just didn't understand the definition. Now I'm kind of getting a better picture of it. I think the hardest things to process about the type is the double activated masculine SI. I was surprised that it was masculine. And also just seeing that double activated masculine SI, that is a huge problem. That is a spur in my boot. Because what I thought was my IJ box, like this kind of rigidness, this routine, is really this double masculine SI. A lot of my need to be controlling and the excessive control is control of the physical world. And the things that make me really angry are physical world things, like people not using turn signals and people not leashing their dogs and the physical chaos. All the ways that I am over controlling are to try to control the outside world from causing chaos for me in doing those things. So it can seem sort of IJ in a rigid way, but it's really what's happening is the SI function that's double activated and masculine. And I'm starting to see that. The way that Dave and Shan explained it to me, it started to make a whole lot of sense. I just didn't think I was lead consume because I really like simplicity and habit, and I don't like new experiences. But maybe that's more of a play last thing. Also, just in reflecting over the last 24 hours, I'm kind of seeing how much sleep is such a savior. So I'm consume sleep, but I do so many things in service of my sleep, like the choices that I've made in my life. So not having children, that is because I want to sleep all the time. I want to process. I want to introspect. Having children would complicate appreciate that. Not socializing. It's not only that I don't want to play, but it's also I need more time to sleep. So anytime I socialize more, play with the tribe more, it takes away from my alone inside my head, inside my abstract world, sleepy time. Becoming a massage therapist. When I first started massage therapy, it was a miracle to me because I thought like, oh my God, 3 hours, 4, 5 hours a day, I am abstract sleeping in my head. It's like this introspection in the abstract world, processing what I'm learning while I'm working and being paid. I'm giving someone a massage, but I'm all up here doing my sleep process, which I love to do. And I get so much of that. And I get paid while I'm doing it. And it doesn't take away from my performance as a massage therapist, because the feedback that I get from my clients is that they feel like I'm so tuned in and I'm so, getting all the spots, and they think, how did you know? How do your hands know to go there? Which brings me to my learning modalities, which was another thing that was initially difficult for me to process. I feel so visual. That's what I know about myself. When I reference the past, I'm referencing images. And some of it is images that maybe I've seen a picture, a photograph, and that's why I see the picture. But some of these images are things I've never seen. And I've talked to my mom about it before. One good example is there was a poster when I was about 4 years old. There was a poster of Garrison Keillor in my bedroom. Now, who in their right mind would put a poster of Garrison Keillor in a 4-year-old's bedroom? Really? Anyway, I love Garrison Keillor, but man, what a scary, ugly mug to have in a little child's bedroom. He's not the most pleasant person to look at. But anyway, I remember that poster was in there, and I can explain visually the house. You had this kind of mirror in your bedroom. Do you remember that? There are no photographs of this. It's like my memory sees these pictures, and also my memory goes way back. Like I remember early things, 3 years old, but these are isolated snapshots and they're very visual. So that's what I was noticing. But then they're saying, no, you're audio kinesthetic. And at first I was like, what? Am I really? But then over the last 24 hours, as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I play guitar, that is audio kinesthetic. It's just that I'm so close to it that that's not really what I'm noticing. And then also with the massage, very, very kinesthetic. My palpation skills and the way that I know certain things kinesthetically, the muscle memory. Now, everybody has muscle memory, but I'm just really, now that I think about it, noticing all the audio kinesthetic, and music is where those things beautifully go together. But even language, I'm really good at language and accents. So a lot of times when I'm watching a movie with my partner, if it's in like a really thick Scottish brogue, he can't tell what they're saying. And I have absolutely no problem. He just can't hear it. Where I can hear it very well, the audio is also kinesthetic. So language and audio, it has like a rhythm that I can really feel. My ear hears it. It hears every little nuance in the pronunciation of words, but there's also this rhythm in music that's like very kinesthetic and palpable. And at first when they said that about me, I just didn't see it because I also know about myself that I'm so visual. So somehow I am all of these things. I don't know on balance which is more. Is the audio kinesthetic more and the visuals there, but it's a little bit less, or are they all, equally strong? I know that I talk with my hands a lot. A lot of times you'll see me grabbing something kinesthetically from over here and moving it over here, but I am grabbing the picture. I'm seeing something in my mind. So I'm grabbing this concept that has like a visual representation and moving it over here. I'm very sensitive to noises. I would say I'm probably the most sensitive to noises irritating me, noises that are abrasive, like a Harley. People love the sound of a nice loud motorcycle, and I hate it. It's abrasive, it's irritating, but I also am bothered by images being off, and especially colors, a certain kind of yellow that I just can't handle. I saw on this app that I use, MailChimp, they recently changed, the welcome screen, and it was like this yellow with this black and white rotating graphic. I can't handle it. There's just a certain color of yellow that I can't handle. But I guess I would say on balance that noises are much harder for me, even though colors and images can bother me, that on balance, noises bother me much more. That's interesting. It's almost like when I'm referencing the past, it's visual, but like in the present, maybe it's more audio kinesthetic. Like I don't remember sounds from the past, although I have music memorized. So I guess that's a thing. I don't know. It's weird. It's so weird when you're so close to yourself, you can't see yourself, and then, you know, someone looks at you objectively and talks about your functions and what they're doing. One thing that I learned from this past 3 weeks waiting to get typed, I was really looking at myself and thinking about myself and what I'm doing. One thing that I learned is that I love my N. So I was seeing in. I was seeing my abstract thinking, my imagination. I mistakenly thought that it was introverted when it's, you know, in actuality it's extroverted. But what I learned is that I love it. It is so entertaining. It's the best thing. I can see that it's good and bad. It's really good that I'm imaginative. It's like the combination of the innie and the sleep. A lot. Really, really in my head. The consume, sleep, and the innie. I'm really not present a lot of times when I should be. And that's something I already knew about myself and I've worked on. There's one thing that's making a lot more sense to me now. When I take the Big 5 test, I always got 100% in openness. And I was just like, how? How am I so rigid and so not open to new experiences and don't like new things? And yet I have 100% openness. It's this weird thing where I'm so highly imaginative and open with the concepts, but I'm not open about deviating from my routine. And it's this weird tension between the feminine innie, the innie that's really big and savior, and then this demon double activated masculine SI. I think that's the tension. That where I seem like an IJ, it's this weird SI thing that I have going on. So that's all I really have to say about that. I did not outline this video at all. I'm sure it's all over the place. I'm tired. This hasn't been nothing to process. I mean, I'm not totally destabilized and messed up, but I'm drained. I'm exhausted. I'm a little bit emotional. Last night I had anxiety when I was falling asleep. My partner fell asleep on the couch and I told him, I need you to be in the bed. I need your body physically in the bed right next to me because I'm feeling really ungrounded and all over the place. I feel weepy, like there's this like sadness. It's really strange. I feel like my glands are a little puffed up, which I'm very healthy. I don't get sick very often, but I feel just drained, run down. But it's just interesting. I went back and looked at some of the classes on some of the other ENFPs, and it helped me process it a lot more. Funny enough, looking at the Weird Al Yankovic video, we're not the exact same type, but I think he's consumed sleep and he's ENFP, and I think the sexuals are the same. And he's got some weird masculine SI stuff going on where he's very nitpicky about grammar. And I remember when I watched his video before, I was like, wow, I really relate to this guy. And it made me think, oh, could I be an ENFP? And then watching that video again helped me process, this whole doc that I got on myself about my functions. Interesting. I think I'll be processing all of these things for a while. Yeah, and not a surprise that I'm play last. I am surprised that I'm consume first, a little bit. Consume sleep, because I thought I was more sleep consume or sleep blast. But consume, sleep, blast, and play. Play last is not a surprise. That's not going to surprise anybody. This is going to be a real bitch to edit.